good morning, New Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show on this fabulous and incredible, wonderful Tuesday. Yes, I am blessed. The good Lord woke me up for yet another day, planted my feet on the floor, and made sure I got on over here to our Block Talk radio station. Was greeted at the door by super producer Jared Broad. Yay. And I am here to bring you this edition of the Good Morning Show, and it's going to be a goodie. 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 There's lots of news going on. But before we get to that, let me make sure that you know what it looks like with the weather today. So it's currently about 83 degrees. But as my brother Ro Brown says, it's June in New Orleans. So, 83 degrees and sunny is more like, feels like 91 degrees. So it's 83, but it feels like 91. So you can expect 90-degree type feels today. And you're going to expect real 90s as the day goes along. About noon or 1 o'clock. Is going to push from the 80s to the 90s for real, and then the feels like is going to be higher than that. So probably in the mid to high 90s on the feel like. Bright and sunny this morning, all morning. Very little chance of precipitation. Around 10 or so. Looks like we're going to have partly cloudy and partly sunny for part of the day, going into the afternoon. And I would say you probably don't need an umbrella, but it's always good to have one in the car or your backpack. And it's a good idea to maybe have one for some shade, or make sure you're in cooler spots or turn those fans on. Heard from a woman yesterday who said that she's been living in her house for decades with no air conditioning. Just opens her windows and has a whole lot of fans. She says it helps her electric bill quite a bit. Okay. All right. Well, I'm here with Ro Brown. Good morning, Ro.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Absolutely.
Damon Singleton and Nash Roberts. That's who you are.
Yeah, right. Oh, please.
I didn't know you were Damon and Nash.
No, not even close. I don't have all of the equipment at my hands to use to look at the different predictions and come to a conclusion that may or may not happen.
Well, Nash didn't either.
Well, that's true.
So that doesn't mean anything.
Well, as our good brother Damon Singleton would say, stay hydrated and wear sunscreen.
There you go.
So, it's not original, but it's a good message.
It works
from Damon today. There is a lot going on, and I want to make sure that y'all know about some of that. But first, let me tell you that much of today's Good Morning Show is going to be focused on Governor Jeff Landry and his vetoes. What the heck is going on? Is it true that New Orleans has been targeted? Or is it we're just a percentage? Or are there other black communities across the state? Are there other communities across the state? Or are we the majority of the communities across the state? I got all these darn vetoing this project and that project and another project. Well, we're going to find out, because we're going to be talking with Greg LaRose, the editor of the Louisiana Illuminator. And we're also going to be talking with State Rep Delisha Boyd, who's been quite vocal in the last few days about these vetoes and what it looks like. So stay tuned. That will be coming up in the Good Morning Show in this hour, actually. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, we have overnight breaking news, because criminal court Judge John Fuller has decided to sue Governor Landry, Attorney General Liz Murrell, Clerk Chelsea Napoleon, and others, saying that the actions that the legislature and the governor took to eliminate the judgeships were illegal, unconstitutional, wrong, and therefore you have to take it back. So, of course, they're not going to just take it back, but they will have to deal with this in court. So we're looking at this some more. There have certainly been some developments as the news hit yesterday and into the evening. There's more developments this morning as judges talk about this and legislators talk about this. My colleague, brother at the Times-Picayune, Matt Bruce, has been all over this criminal judge and judiciary reporting. And he talked with Senator Jay Morris, our favorite from West Monroe, our favorite Republican from West Monroe, who's been behind a lot of this judicial legislation. And according to Mr. Morris, Fuller's legal claim doesn't overcome a hurdle that Louisiana lawmakers carved out specifically for Orleans Parish back in the 1970s. So he's saying the hole in the judge's argument is that you can't say when you're not being treated like the rest of the 63 parishes, because in the 70s, the lawmakers said Orleans can be treated different. How you feel about that, bro?
Yeah, it's another way of looking at the normal ways that people like Mr. Morris have, how do I say this? It's the normal way that they have tried to get rid of gains made by African Americans by using, for instance, the content of your character line, the way that that's used now to wipe out, what Martin Luther King was all about. They use that line, not the color of your skin. It's the same kind of thing. That's what this is. If that makes sense to anybody. But yeah, that's what he's doing with that one. And,
So,
for them it works.
yeah,
It does, for them
Well,
it works, and that's what this is.
I'm not an attorney, but this seems to be a different legal approach than Mayor Moreno and others took with saying that what was happening was wrong. So it seems that they approached this on a issue of equality. The voters have already voted, that kind of thing, focusing on the clerk legislation that became law to eliminate the seat that Calvin Duncan had won.
Right. So how
This judge seemed to be saying, it not directly, but indirectly, set that aside. None of what y'all did is right.
Right. Yeah, okay.
None of what y'all did is right.
That's
And
what
so
that's what
we'll
Judge
start-
Fuller that's
yeah,
what Judge Fuller's
That's,
thing is
that's
saying.
what I think. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think he's saying you can start with me, but let's look at this legally and legislatively, because if you did not have enough votes, how can you move the legislation through?
Yeah.
And he is alleging that they did not have enough votes, that it was a vote of 62 to 64 with 9 state reps absent. And he's saying the state constitution requires a 2/3 super majority. Not just a majority, a super majority from the House and a super majority from the Senate. So he's saying the state Senate reached the supermajority mark when they had 26 votes. But at no point did the House have a 2/3 supermajority. They had a majority, but not a super majority. And so that's seems to be the basis of his argument.
This is in the state constitution?
According to Mr. Fuller. That's his reading of the Constitution.
No, this is the first time we're hearing this?
Well, and that is I think that's one of the most interesting things about it, because if you are a new legislator, you might not know this, but if you're an experienced legislator, 2 or more terms, 3 or 4 terms, state house and state senate, seems like you would know supermajority versus majority on whatever legislation, not just judicial.
Yeah,
and
that's in the Constitution, and that's for any legislation. Are you sure?
Well, I'm not sure, but what I'm saying is looking through the lawsuit, and granted, I have looked at the lawsuit, not read every single page, but I have looked at the lawsuit, and I have read the coverage of this, and the judge is banking on that there was a supermajority in one chamber and not a supermajority in the other chamber. And the Constitution requires a supermajority in both chambers, and since you only got it in one, therefore this could not have moved forward, shouldn't have moved forward. And Morris is saying, well, we hear you, but it didn't apply because there's an exception for Orleans Parish. Courts and municipal offices implemented by the Louisiana's 1974 Constitutional Convention. So Morris says, if you go back to the Constitution, look in 1974, and it was revised, and he points out Section 32 of the judicial bylaws that says, quote, subject to change by law, close quote, with a majority vote. So he's saying all we needed was majority vote. We got a supermajority in one, and we got a majority in the other. And he told Matt Bruce, quote, I did my research ahead of time to make sure it doesn't require supermajority vote, and it doesn't. Close quote. Okay. So I guess we'll be watching that for other developments today as people respond. As one prominent legal mind responded to me yesterday, that's absurd. So hopefully I'll get some more.
What's absurd?
It's absurd that this could be interpreted this way, but
by Morris. By Morris. By Morris. They can't hear you by you nod your head. This is radio. This is radio, man.
Well, I think it was intentionally stated that way. Absurd. All right. So one way or the other. One way or the other. But just a reminder that Judge Fuller was one of the candidates for Section J seat, Orleans Criminal District Court. He won that vote in May with 65% of the vote. And that was a special election, not a complete term. So that special election, was to finish the last several months of retired Judge Darrell Durbin's unexpired term, which means that term would have expired at December 31st anyway.
Okay.
And the Judge Fuller and his opponents were hoping to win the special election and then run for the full term. But they knew when they ran that this legislative process was in motion to eliminate that seat. but we in Orleans Parish still had the right, the opportunity to choose someone through the special election.
Mhm.
What they did is just said, you can have this one, but after December 31st, it's gone. And that's one of three seats. And of course, the other judges are Simone Levine and Rhonda Good Douglas. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Ryan, good morning. You're on with Will Sutton and Ro Brown.
Hey, good morning, y'all. How we doing?
Fabulous. How
Good
are you,
morning.
sir?
I'm too good. I got out of work kind of late, but I'm up and drinking coffee. It's all good.
All right. You're on your
Um,
first or second cup?
I'm on my second. Yeah, I'm on my second, so
All right.
I'm about to hit.
Hello, you there?
Yeah, hello.
Okay. Do you use chicory or no?
Not if I can help it.
Okay, no problem. All right. All right. What you got, Ryan?
Hello.
Yeah, what you got? What's on your
Yeah.
mind?
Well, I'm curious if anyone filed those ethics violations yet against the good senator from the north. I tried a couple times. No one seemed wants to touch it, and I don't know if you know this, but I don't have a law degree.
I
So
don't
I've
either.
pardon?
I don't either.
Yeah. So I've contacted a couple people to file suit, and no one wants to touch it. I don't know why. So, maybe one of your listeners can help me out with that because it's a major conflict of interest all over the board with what the gentleman ish is trying to do. So. Anyway, if y'all listening, holler at your boy. I'll file that suit.
Okay, so you're talking about
Morris with the
Morris,
land
right?
holdings and all that stuff you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
While
Yeah,
while he
which we brought up.
simultaneously tries to,
Right, right. And
dismantle the
yeah.
law.
Yeah, we had the reporter on who broke that story a couple of weeks back, and I thought it was important to bring him to the WBOK Good Morning Show because that's part of what I mean by having a diverse news diet.
Mhm.
Because we at BOK didn't break that story. The company where I work full time, Times Picayune, didn't break that story. There are a number of news organizations, and they report on different kinds of things. Even if it's not a quote unquote breaking story, it might be an oozing story that you might want to know about. And so that's why it's good to have a diverse news diet. But you're right on point, Ryan. I agree that something should be looked into with that, despite the fact that Morris said, I did nothing wrong. Well, maybe somebody else should determine that
Yeah.
he didn't or that he did.
And
You can't let him decide, right?
Right. Well, right now, that's where it stands. He's decided.
Yeah, and I hate to keep sounding like this, but no, I don't hate to keep sounding like this. That's part of MAGA, man.
Mm.
It's obviously part of it. Okay, the rules are for you, but not for me.
Mm.
The laws are for you, but not for me. And I decide what's the law, and I decide what's the rules. And that's what's being done at the top. That's what's being done at the state level,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's being done at in the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great example of statesmanship, right?
Of what?
It's such a great example of statesmanship that I jest.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
right.
I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's how it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it at all
Yes, sir.
levels. So
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Yeah.
Morris is no different.
All right.
He knows he
Okay.
can do it.
All right. Brian, thank you for calling in, and thanks for bringing up that point. It's worth bringing up again since nothing else has happened. So maybe somebody's
I haven't
listening.
heard anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, I asked a couple people. They were like, I don't want to do that.
Nah. Okay. Well, all
All
right.
righty. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Lord's blessings. Have a great day. All right, folks, we're going to go to a break right now on WBOK. And we are going to have that break and then come back. And we're going to hear from Greg LaRose from the Louisiana Illuminator soon. Meanwhile, we'll see if we can find out some more about this Fuller lawsuit. Ro Brown will have some time for calls at some point, maybe toward the end of Greg LaRose or at some other point during the show. What's that phone number for everybody?
The number is, get your pens and paper. The number is 504 582 9422.
All right, this is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Kubel, and here are today's headlines for you. A search is on for a vehicle and the person responsible for gunfire that shut down the Crescent City connection over the weekend. We are learning that a child was in the car when a woman was shot near the Tchoupitoulas exit. Police say the victim was headed east when she noticed a black vehicle traveling next to her. Police say the victim then heard several gunshots and realized she had been shot. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers. Happening today, business owners frustrated with a construction debacle on Decatur Street are expected to be at an economic development meeting. Those businesses say they have lost thousands due to the ongoing sewage and water board project, and some filed an injunction last week. This comes as grant applications for struggling businesses are now open. And back in the Big Easy, Pelicans rookie Jaron Pierre Jr. is once again calling New Orleans home. And the team officially introduced their second-round selection on Monday. The St. Aug product detailed his emotions when he heard his name called to be a New Orleans Pelican, which means Pierre gets the opportunity to play professionally in an arena he grew up going to games in. And that is a look for you at today's headlines. I'm Elizabeth.
Attention,
WBOK
WBOK
Have a great
listeners.
day, everyone.
Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Hey, Delta Utilities natural gas customers. Your new and improved online customer service experience is here. Visit mydu.com to track your usage, choose convenient payment options, learn how to read your bill, and more. If you prefer to pay in person, our customer payment centers are open and ready to serve you. Delta Utilities at mydu.com. That's mydu.com. Improved customer service with you in mind.
Real talk. I look forward to the Essence Festival every single year. This year, July 3rd through the 5th. New Orleans Essence Festival of Culture is back for 2026 and is presented by Coca-Cola. This lineup, man, Cardi B, Patti LaBelle, Brandy and Monica together, George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic, Kalani, Lotto, Leon Thomas, Public Enemy, and Babyface. I need you to understand what this weekend feels like. The energy, the fashion, and man, oh man, the food. New Orleans is already magic, and Essence makes it super natural. However you're getting there, wherever you're coming from, you need to be in that building July 3rd through the 5th. Go to essencefestival.com right now. Get your tickets. Do not wait.
This is Andronica Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
We're under a heat advisory until 6 p.m. today. We could feel like 105 to 110. Actual highs today will be about 93 to 99 degrees. We could see a few spotty storms in the afternoon, but it is a possibility that some of these storms may not hold together, but be on the lookout for that as we get to the evening hours. For tonight, 75 to 80 degrees. For tomorrow, 91 to 95. More storms expected for your Wednesday. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show at 7:26 a.m. You got to be somewhere at 7:30. You got 4 minutes, so if you're 2 minutes away, you might be able to stroll on in, park in that parking spot, grab your stuff, walk casually on in, and make it. But if you're 10 minutes from work or your doctor's appointment and you got 4 minutes for 7:30, you late already. And just slow down, because there could be any number of things that has happened in your life that you can tell the boss. My third mother-in-law died, and I needed to deal with that, So, but whatever your excuse is, just make sure it's one you haven't used before, and probably won't need a permission slip, but you need a good a good reason that you're showing up late, especially if you're on one of those, you're on the bubble, sir. You've been written up 3 times, and you definitely want to take your time and make sure you think that through if you're going to be late. Don't forget our babies and kiddos are out there, and they are not going to school, most of them. They are at Nord. They are at summer camp. They are in the streets and maybe in your driveway. So be careful as you head out. Look for the babies and kiddos. Make sure that you're safe, that they're safe, that the other crazy drivers have a defensive driver with you in mind. So we're going to pop back into the conversation shortly about the judicial thing. Good morning, Reverend Calhoun. You're on with Will
Good morning,
Sutton.
gentlemen,
You're
and
on,
how are we this morning?
Fabulous. You're on with Will Sutton and Ro Brown. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
I'm hanging in here, gentlemen.
Good.
I know you're going to get to this issue about the $36 million has been vetoed.
Yeah, momentarily, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, just a minute. So you might want to hear some of this and then call back. I know that's not usually what we do, but what do you think about that? Or you just want to weigh in now?
No, I'll call back because I would love to hear what reasoning is he using
we got
to
that
say
coming
that
up.
this is not racist or this is not retaliatory, because it seems like the governor and the president are on the same side with this retaliatory stuff of punishing people that don't agree with them.
All right, Reverend Calhoun.
Covenant House had no business being cut.
I hear you.
All right, then.
All right.
All right, bye-bye. I'll call back.
Lord's blessings. Good morning, Mr. Greg LaRose, editor of the Louisiana Illuminator. How are you, sir?
Doing well, gentlemen. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Well, just by chance, did you hear that caller just now?
I did. That's a good question.
How about that for an intro?
I like it. What a nice transition.
Well, Greg, you, the editor of the Louisiana Illuminator, you've been here before, so you're no stranger to the Good Morning Show. But for those who may not remember or may have forgotten, what is the Louisiana Illuminator?
The Illuminator is a nonprofit newsroom. We're based at the state capitol. I'm personally here in New Orleans and do a lot of commuting. And we are devoted to coverage of state politics with an emphasis on how it affects Louisiana's marginalized citizens. So we're taking a lot of hard looks as of late at things like voting rights, at fiscal decisions. Essentially, we, as of the Illuminator, want to shed light to explore how state money and state policy affects people around Louisiana.
Okay, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but because people tune in and then they're out and then back in. Last time you were here, I don't think we did this. So just 60 seconds or so about your background before the Illuminate. I know it, but I want our WBOK family of listeners to know.
Sure. Thanks so much. Yeah, I am born and raised South Louisiana, the home of Thibodaux area, and I've had the good fortune to spend my entire journalism career here, including time in Baton Rouge, covering politics, sports, community news over on the North Shore for a cup of coffee, working with what was the Covington newspaper. That led to some time at City Business here in the city, and with the Times-Picayune. And before coming to the Illuminator, I was on the investigative team at WDSU. So try as they may, you can't get rid of me. I'm here. I'm sticking around.
Absolutely. A few of us veterans hanging on.
Yeah, I know he's. I know he's old. He's been around a long time. I know he's like me. I know.
If you have to put it that way.
But we're still here. As my daddy say, I'm kicking, but just not as high.
Yeah, he's old. Yeah. Greg's old like the rest of us.
All right. So, but I wanted that background because on this particular issue about the governor's vetoes, I wanted to make sure that our audience understood that this is coming somebody who's not, 2 years out of school, somebody who has covered the legislature and so many other things, an investigative reporter background. So you have a different kind of lens when covering this issue and leading your team to cover this and other issues, and especially with that focus of that you have at the Louisiana Illuminator. So give us your overview about the big cuts, the vetoes that Governor Landry did. And as we understand it to this date, there were some cuts across the state, but it feels like New Orleans got hit pretty hard.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. I mean, you can pull up the map and see that projects planned for New Orleans, urban service organizations in New Orleans, and around the state, groups that predominantly serve Black communities were seeing some of the biggest cuts from the governor's line item vetoes. You can lay it out in the 3 budget bills that advanced from the session this year, and that's how it adds up. I reached out to the governor's office to see if he would sort of explain, okay, why was that the case? And through his spokesperson, he had said that that non-governmental organizations, which, are typically charities and church-based groups, and they provide services such as education and medical care, often filling the gaps of local and state government. The governor has said ever since he was elected that these would be targeted since he took over in 2024. But definitely, if you see where these cuts landed, by and large, around the $35-36 million range, New Orleans took one of the biggest hits.
Greg, I mean, it's like I said 5 minutes ago. I don't really have a question. It's part of MAGA. I mean, that's what he said he was going to do. And and he can do that. And he feels that he can do that, without, anybody, questioning. That's what he said he was going to do.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to get into his motivation as a journalist, but the numbers spell out pretty clearly what took place there, and a lot of folks are sort of lining that up next to the laws that peeled away judgeships from New Orleans, that consolidated the clerk of courts offices, and I guess the crown jewel, if you will, or the shattering of the crown jewel might be a better way of putting it, the redistricting that eliminated a majority black seat from Louisiana's House delegation.
Well, and that's also, I mean, part of MAGA. I mean, there was always a feeling that you didn't use your political position well. The word that they use from up top is retribution. You don't support me, you're not my supporter, so I don't have to give you anything.
Okay. Hold
I don't
on.
have to give you anything.
I'm going to push back on you.
That's good. That's what I want you to do.
Yeah. So, Greg, you've been around this for a long time, and because I've been around this, but in other places, not here, you have a longer tenure looking at these things. But Democratic and Republican governors have done some of this, correct?
Yes.
I want to hear from Greg.
Okay.
Well, yeah, line item vetoes tend to be, in Louisiana history, at least as far as I've been covering it, political history, tend to be more political than, say, fiscally oriented. Here and there, certainly, that they're going to see some fat that's just ridiculous and trim it. But it's leverage. You have to keep in mind as well the timing of these line item vetoes. They were made public immediately before a deadline that lawmakers were given to consider the governor's proposal to move around K through 12 money for operations to back the governor's plan to provide teachers and some school support workers with another round of pay stipends this year. So that went public. You know, that it was leverage. Governor Landry's not the first to use line item vetoes as leverage to get what they want from the legislature. And yeah, you know, there's certainly, you know, retribution in there if you aren't in line with the governors. That's, you know, multiple lawmakers have said that. One of the more interesting things I've seen on social media as of late was from Representative Amy Freeman, who represents a chunk of
98.
Uptown.
District 98.
Yeah,
Yep.
District 98. Yeah. She noted that her district saw zero in cuts. Now, you know, there aren't a lot of NGOs or projects in that part of town, and I might argue that if you cut an organization or a project that serves a greater need anywhere in New Orleans, you're in essence cutting all of New Orleans. But Rep. Freeman made no bones about, you know, what her district looks like, what she looks like, versus the districts around the city that saw actual cuts within their boundaries. I found that kind of telling, and I think obviously hints towards. Well, it really doesn't hint. It beats us over the head with what I think a lot of state lawmakers are feeling, at least insofar as the New Orleans delegation right now.
Well, and I did note that Democratic and Republican governors have done things like this in terms of using a line item veto. I think what's different is how blatant this seems to be focused on Black communities. And not just here, but in Baton Rouge in particular, where there's a multi-million-dollar development that I believe the governor showed up to break the ground and say, what a wonderful thing. And then he's vetoing the money. Does that ring a bell at all?
Yeah, I'm looking through my list to see the projects you're talking about, and I basically made notes of anything that was like seven figures and above. But yeah, look, I won't question it. That's something you recall.
Yeah.
I'm sure your point on there, and you know, what really jumps out is that that this was not limited strictly to New Orleans. You can kind of look at the gist of a lot of the projects, and they landed in Black communities. Going back to some of Rep. Freeman's comments, one things that she pointed out was that Republicans have a supermajority in the legislature. So pretty much, with the things they get behind, they're going to pass. So as she had explained it, like this really that definitely lands in the category of retribution as she sees it.
Yeah. And, it seems to me that there are certainly what you pointed to, the timing of the vetoes and the vote for the teacher, I'm not going to call it a pay raise, a stipend, that the governor was seeking how he wanted to do that. But as you noted, I mean, some of the things might be based in a particular representative's district or a particular senator's district, but that's where they're based, but they serve communities and people from across the city or much of the city. And I think that included something like 6.5 million for Volunteers of America, a healthcare facility. I mean, I don't think that's for people who can just walk there.
And for all you sports fans out there, $1 million allocation for Berman Stadium, the only high school football venue in Algiers that's long needed upgrades. He got that $1 million too. He struck that.
Yeah, and I think we should point out that for Berman Stadium, that was in House Bill 1. So that basically means that money was essentially cash in the budget that would have been available immediately. Now, a lot of these cuts, like the VOA money, were low priority, basically more or less kind of like a foot in the door that puts the project in line for future state funding. So, you could look at that and say, well, those cuts are somewhat symbolic, seeing as how the money would not have come up probably not, definitely not this year, likely not the next. Like, these are projects that are basically kind of put in order. However, you look at a project such as the Good Deed Foundation project in North Baton Rouge that would have built basically like a grocery store hub, community center in that part of the city. It had been obligated $800,000 in money that they would have likely seen right away. The low priority money was $16.2 million. So in a sense, the governor's, and again, he's not the first one to do it, but you can sort of take these swipes and then, look at the sum total and say you've cut X amount of dollars. The truth of it all is that it's probably not as big a number as the 36 million that we've been pointed out in terms of what was immediately available. But I think also it's somewhat symbolic as well, in that you're being told, okay, get to the back of the line because this is not going to be in our spending plan for this coming year.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to point to some of your specific reporting where you note specific vetoes and want to go to the phone lines because people have questions and comments about this kind of thing. So it is 7:44 a.m. Got to be somewhere at 7:45. You got 1 minute. Slide on over to the other side of the bed. If you're capable of doing that, fire up the laptop and get going. If you're not, well, take your time. Go slow. Make sure you get there. And watch out for our babies and our kiddos. We will have a few minutes for some additional calls. And Ro Brown, what's that phone number?
The number is 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars because the real ones always stay informed.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. I am here with none other than Ro Brown.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, thanks for coming back another day, my man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay, it's
Thank you for having me.
7:47 a.m. We're in conversation with Greg LaRose, editor of the Louisiana Illuminator, talking about the vetoes that the governor pushed out recently. I'm just going to go through a part of that report that Greg noted in his.
Go on.
In his story.
Yeah, but just one question, Greg. I keep seeing priority 4, priority 5. What is all that?
So it's essentially a place in line. Projects, and this involves basically what's called the capital outlay budget. That's the money that the state's going to spend on sort of bricks and mortar, roads, infrastructure, and a lot of community-based projects.
Right.
So if you're P1, priority 1, you are going to get that money in the upcoming fiscal year. From there, it's a weird system in that priority 2 is essentially kind of an IOU of sorts. You probably won't get your money in the coming year, but it does put you in line to be considered to be moved up in the status. P5 is sort of a foot in the door to where in future years you might get moved up for P2. And here's the weird thing about it, Ro, is that P3 and P4 are essentially saying, no, you're not getting your money. But you don't see 3 or 4 land in the budget, and this is getting a little bit in the weeds. Again, priority 5, basically a foot in the door, and you probably aren't going to see your money, if ever, but definitely probably for a few years.
Okay,
all right. I thought that was important.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm going to run through this, and we'll take a call. $18 million. And this is right from Greg's story. $18 million in the capital outlay budget for a Good Deed Foundation's grocery store center development in North Baton Rouge, with $16.2 million of that designated as priority 5. $3 million for $3 million for Habitat Nola's Rising Oaks development in Tarrytown, with 2.5 of that in priority funding.
Priority 5 funding.
Priority 5 funding, and $500,000 is priority 2. $2 million in capital outlay funding, priority 5, for project 70805 Inc. to redevelop a former hardware store in North Baton Rouge into a food business incubator. $2 million in the state operating budget for the Ellis Marcellus Center for Music in New Orleans, community center providing services to children and musicians in the Upper 9th Ward neighborhood. $1 million for the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office in the state operating budget. $1 million for the North Lake Charles Economic Development District in supplemental appropriations budget, and $500,000 in the operation budget for J.S. Clark Leadership Academy in Opelousas. Has anything changed on that, Greg?
No, that's the final version. And just a couple pointers there. You referred to the state operating budget and the supplemental applications budget. So that money is readily available. That's separate from the construction budget where they prioritize who actually gets the money. But for the Ellis Marcellus Center, for example, in the upper 9, that $2 million would have landed this year.
Would have.
And same for the sheriff's office allocation as well. Yes.
All right, great. All right, hold on. We got a call. Reverend Calhoun, welcome back. It's Will Sutton, Roe Brown, and Greg LaRose.
All right, I got a quick question, so I ain't gonna be long at all.
All right.
So, how much did New Orleans? Excuse me. How much did New Orleans contribute to this budget? Was it more than $36 million?
I don't have. That's a good question, and I don't know that number off my head. But I think you're making the point when you look at the state sales tax, every other state tax collected in New Orleans, which then you move into hotels and property. Well, no, not property. A lot of the inventory taxes and whatnot. I think the point you're making is that state taxes originating from New Orleans likely far exceed what's being cut line item from the budget.
I also want to know how much money did West Monroe or Jim Morris District get? Did they get any money?
I can't tell you that. I've not pinpointed that exactly in the budget. Don't know, but I think I know where you're trying.
It does not seem like what we sent up there, we get any most of it back for those areas that's really needed in our city to help our city. But then all the money then goes to I don't know what you call it, roasted about mega components.
Other
So
places.
I don't know, but it seems that something is not right with the way this is being done, and it does not seem that they have any humanity in it. And that might be a little strong for some people, but when you start trying to hurt people, then that brings me to another level. All right, that was my question. So, Will and Ro, if y'all get a chance to see just how much money has the city of New Orleans contributed to this budget and how much money is actually coming back to this city from this budget, I'd just like to know.
All right.
All right, y'all
Good
have
point.
a good
Lord's
morning.
blessings, sir. Have a great day. All right. Good points from Reverend Calhoun. I'm not sure there's any online spreadsheet where you can narrow it down by district or parish, but perhaps that can be done by representative or senator, maybe. That sound about right? Or?
The breakdown in the capital outlay budget at least does break it up by parish, not by individual district, either Senate or House.
Okay.
So you would get a rough idea. I don't know that you could pinpoint it specifically. I would say it would be done, but that would take somebody with a whole lot better grasp of how you essentially scrape data from the budget.
All right. Now, you mentioned State Rep Amy in her social media posts, and we've seen it. We shared it yesterday on the Good Morning Show, and at one point in there, she said what you said. She said, which is there were no cuts in her district, and more of what she said was that most of her New Orleans delegation colleagues do not look like her, and a clear indication that she's white, and all but one of the others are black. And she also said she's going to call a spade as she makes that distinction and makes that statement, not an allegation, but a statement that that's how it appears to her. Do you agree with her assessment, or at least see how she and others could quickly come to that conclusion?
So I'm going to stop short of agreeing or disagreeing with her. I feel journalistically, I don't want to paint. I'll agree she's white.
Yep.
I'll agree that all but one other person in the New Orleans delegation is it is a predominantly black legislative delegation.
All but two.
Yeah, Rep. Freeman and Rep. Mandy Landry have been in lockstep with their fellow members of the delegation throughout all of this, I would say. And I'd go back to the point of, while I understand the point she's making, I think, when you see funding pulled from an organization that's providing health care, job assistance, reentry services, you are impacting all of New Orleans, not just a specific district where that particular project or organization is based.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but in New Orleans, a number of these projects seem to be in the Senate districts of Senator Gary Carter and Senator Royce Duplessis, but also, of course, in the state representative district of Delisha Boyd, and I believe State Representative Alonzo Knox. Is that correct? And then are there any others?
Yeah, I saw a number in Algiers. A lot of the organizations fall under the Algiers Development District, which the legislature created. So when you are channeling state money to NGO in Algiers, likely it's going to go through the Algiers Development District. Also cut was $150,000 from the Algiers Economic Development Foundation. So, yeah, I thought that was a number. And, to your point, you mentioned Senator Gary Carter, easily the most vocal opponent of the redistricting plan that advanced out of the legislature this year.
But Greg, $150,000, is it me or does that seem meager?
That's a pretty tiny cut in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was just me, but what was it? $150,000.
Yeah, we're talking about a state budget overall that exceeds $40 billion. So you can do the math and see how small that is in the big picture.
Oh boy. Okay, well, do you expect any fallout, well, we had the fallout. The fallout continues. Expect any developments to fix any of this?
I guess it's, that's a good question for next year. The jockeying among lawmakers in an election year for state legislators is to try and bring some of the bacon home. So I think, you're going to have people in line hoping to land in the good graces of the Republican leadership of the legislature and the governor himself to get in line. But insofar as what we're talking about this morning, I think the ship has sailed. I don't see any, short of Louisiana finding some huge surplus of cash that could be doled out, and that's likely to happen in a very, political way. I think what we're talking about now is pretty much locked in.
Okay, so before we let you go, is there any reason that Senator Gary Carter, Senator Royce Duplessis, State Rep. Alonzo Knox, State Rep. Delisha Boyd would be hit so hard? Is that they do something in particular that seems to be out of legislative bounds, or how do you read that?
I know Senator Carter was outspoken with regards to the redistricting. That was obviously something the governor supported and wanted pushed through. I don't know necessarily that I'd say there's any personal animosity among the lawmakers you're mentioning and the governor's office. So, yeah, it's hard to say that it's personal. Is it political? I don't think it's a far leap or an uncomfortable one to say that, these local lawmakers largely oppose much of the governor's agenda, definitely as it impacted New Orleans.
All right. Well, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back on the other side, we're going to start with talk with State Representative Delisha Boyd. We're expecting her to give us a ring. If you want to call in at some point, what is that phone number for the talk line, Ro?
504-582-9422.
All righty. After the break, we will talk with State Representative Delisha Boyd. And stay tuned. We got more on the Judge John Fuller case. That's coming up as well. It's 8:01 a.m. This is WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The FBI Houston's field office is reporting that online threats against Houston Stadium during the World Cup lack credibility. Monday, FBI Houston stated they were working with local, state, and federal officials to identify who posted the threatening online communication. An Atlanta area nonprofit is helping to provide relief to earthquake-affected areas of Venezuela. The Principito Foundation collected more than 100 tons of donation items to send to Venezuela. And Cypress Hill are set to drop their very first album in Spanish. It's their first studio album in over 4 years. Dios Bendigo will be out July 24th. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Ro Brown. We are at 8:04 a.m. You got somewhere to be at 8:10. You got a few minutes, about 6 to get there. Please drive safely wherever you are going, and keep in mind that the weather is going to get hotter and hotter. We're going to go into at least the low 90s today. We're going to jump into conversation to continue this talk about the governor's vetoes with somebody who cares deeply about what has been done. We're on the line now with State Representative Delisha Boyd. Good morning. You're on with Will Sutton and Ro Brown. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, I don't know if you heard much of Greg LaRoe's overview, but he's been covering legislative issues for a while, and he says that though this is something that has been done by Democratic and Republican governors, that this seems to be different. What's your take?
I don't think it's different based on what's happened this session. It's been clear that all session long, the focus would be to attack New Orleans, and that is just more of what we're seeing right now. So I don't think it's different with regard to what we've seen all session. It was a bloodbath this session.
So what particular projects were you concerned about in your district?
I think anything to do with the kids. You know, the governor slashing projects doesn't hurt me directly, but it hurts the community. He vetoed one of my last bills, which was a consumer protection for elderly. You know, contrary to popular belief, I don't think 57 is elderly, so that didn't really affect me. But the people who are 90% more likely to be susceptible to scams from people is who I intended to help with this particular legislation, and that was vetoed. The funds for Berman Park was vetoed. So you're talking about harming, in my personal opinion, our most vulnerable, our children and our elderly people.
Ms. Boyd, simple question. What can you do?
What can I do about what?
About this. I mean, we're talking about it, and it's, you know, it's really bad stuff to me. But I mean, what recourse do we have?
Next year's an election year.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly thinks that New Orleans won't be a factor in him being reelected.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen what New Orleans can do when we show up. We were the reason why John Bell got reelected his second term. You know, if we show up because we won't take being beat down, then that's the recourse here. We have to change the faces of those that are making the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way around this at all.
Right.
So you mentioned Berman Park. I'm sure I've been there. Rose been there multiple times, and you've been there a lot of times. Can you describe the park and why this money was needed?
This money was needed to give us a state-of-the-art football field for our teams, not just on the West Bank, but teams that were coming over to the West Bank to compete with Carr or Landry or whoever it is. This was an opportunity to give the children something to do that is constructive. We talk about wanting to keep crime down, but then we want to take away the projects that would help children, give them something to do versus having idle time.
Yeah, Berman Stadium is a North facility. It's used a lot. It's really, really run down now. And, you know, I mean, it's, you know, the track is more than 20 years old and it's peeling and everything. It just, the whole stadium just needs work. I mean, you know, locker rooms, and that was in line to at least start doing that. And it's $1 million that I mentioned earlier in the show, Ms. Boyd, for all you sports fans, if you need something to hit home, then that's something right there that should hit home with you.
Yes.
And
I mean, this entire session should hit home for everyone.
Right.
You know, we lost several judges. We lost 10 DAs. We lost a clerk of criminal court. We should be looking at how that's going to affect people's right to a speedy trial, so their Sixth Amendment right. If someone is actually guilty of something, then they will be getting out of jail. The criminal court judges are already overloaded with case files. The DAs are already overloaded with case files, and you reduce that number. We have to, not just in the governor's election, every election, it is time for us to look at other districts that could easily be flipped, and to change that number from that 73 in the House, that supermajority, and then we have two rogue Democrats that votes with them all the time. So really, they have 75 votes in the House. If that number does not change, this will continue to happen. And what I'm seeing is someone who knows that he's up for re-election next year. That is like a smack in our face, saying, I don't care what happens in New Orleans. New Orleans won't affect me being elected or re-elected. We should show up and show him better than that next year.
do you see a political advantage for him for these particular types of cuts? I mean, it's one thing to target New Orleans districts, projects, and so forth, as well as Baton Rouge. But is there any political advantage for him to do this?
I think there's not about so much a political advantage. It's you're going to do as I say or else. Is how I take it. That's how I took it. My position on whether or not to vote for that MFP was based on what my interpretation of what the judge ordered with the TRO, which was to stop all parts of that vote. And we did not. All parts included the governor and the House and the Senate included all of us. That was my interpretation. So to vote yes or no would have been in violation of the judge's order. But had the TRO not been there, I was going to vote no anyway. The teachers and the superintendents and the unions were completely against this because you're taking funding away once again from other areas that help our children to pay the teachers. I've been given the example of if someone offered you a pay raise and took $2,000 from your 401k and called it a raise.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't like that.
No, none of us would. None of us would.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of MFP, the latest development, as I understand it, is that the court says the governor can move forward. Is that your understanding, and where are we with
yes,
that
I
situation?
think that came down yesterday, but it was clear that he was going to do it anyway. We have a governor who is very similar to our president. They don't really care about constitutionality of things. They would spend the money to go to defend it versus doing what's right, I guess in the hopes that the court will side with their decision, which I think we're going to see more of with this another bill that passed this session that will allow a judge to be removed for cause and for the legislature to replace them with an appointment, not another election. Whether it's a conscious decision or not, that's going to affect decisions on things.
Okay. And now some of your colleagues in the Legislative Black Caucus, as I understand it, who represent smaller parishes. So Orleans is pretty large, East Baton Rouge is pretty large, Caddo, et cetera. But there's some that have small parishes and therefore small school districts. How much have you heard from them about the impact on their school districts with this particular plan?
Is going to be monumental for those districts. It's going to hit everyone, regardless of the size.
Yeah.
Something that you are accustomed to having every school year, you will now have to eliminate that program, or some of it may be transportation. And we have kids, for example, that live in Michoud that come to Carr that ride the school bus to school. It's going to affect things like that. So it's going to be monumental for the smaller parish, but I think every parish will feel, to some degree, the effects of having this done.
And for some of these projects that were vetoed outside of your district, but in New Orleans, how important are some of these for citizens across the city?
The majority of the programs that I see that have been cut will affect what we can do with our children and how we can impact tourism around our city. It's another jab at New Orleans, consistent with what the whole session was like. And in the grand scheme of things, I got 10 pieces of legislation passed. Mm-hmm. So, somebody might tell me not to complain, but I'm complaining. When you are affecting the people who I've been elected to protect and serve, the people who I think we all have been elected to protect and serve properly, that is not what was going on in New Orleans this session at all.
Anything good come out of the session?
Well, I passed 10 bills.
I know.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. For instance, give me something. Give people something.
Well,
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, let's hear some good news.
But that's not what you asked specifically, but I'll answer it now that that's
Okay.
what you asked the second time.
Right.
I think what's most impactful for me was I attended a mental health symposium, and our children are suffering tremendously. They are the second leading cause of kids from 10 to 16 is suicide. So I had some legislation where now the kids will have access to the 988 crisis line hotline on their ID, on their student IDs. And Congressman Carter gave me an idea from a bill that he ran to also have signs put up around the schools. Because kids sometimes won't talk to their teacher or their parents, but if they know that they have the ability to call someone anonymously and just talk through whatever that life-changing moment is for them, or what they perceive to be life-changing moment, might save a life. So I think that is very impactful for me. Also, last year I learned that kids who are in foster care, when they are moved from one place to another, put all their belongings in trash bags. Those big black trash bags. I thought that was horrible, so I had some legislation to change that. Now it is mandatory that they be moved with luggage. We had already a big luggage drive for kids, and we've already collected over 1,000 pieces of luggage to keep those kids from moving from place to place. I can't imagine what that must feel like to go through some type of trauma that you're being removed from your household, and then to be made to feel like you're disposable by putting all your belongings in trash bags from one place to another. So I think that was very impactful for me as well.
Very good, very good.
Okay.
Well, keep fighting, State Rep. Success comes in increments, unfortunately. And so...
And being willing to stand up and do what's right. You know, you have some people who are going to bend in fear of the governor or whatever their reasoning has been. But what I have to go on is the blueprint that the people who actually fought for us in the 60s and the 50s, and even the 70s for that matter, they had a plan and they stuck to it, and they did create change by standing together with less resources than we have today. So this is something that I know we can overcome once we get sick and tired of being sick and tired and stand together and decide that we're going to make sure that there's change moving forward.
And Representative Boyd, I have my 2-word answer that you gave. Vote people.
Yes.
Vote people.
Yes.
Indeed, indeed. Well, one more thing before we let you go. As you know, yesterday, Judge John Fuller filed a lawsuit against the governor, Attorney General Morrell, the clerk, to say that the legislative action to eliminate these seats was not appropriate, based on your recollection and what you know as of now, because you may not have had time to see the lawsuit.
I have not, and I actually just heard about it on your show earlier today. So I don't know the specifics on it. My understanding from what I heard apparently is that he is challenging whether or not the governor had the 2/3 vote in the House and the Senate.
Right, the supermajority in both chambers.
Right. So I'm not sure, but I hope he prevails with that. I would have to take a look at that myself to even know which specific bill he's referencing with that. I'm assuming it's the one that eliminates his position.
Yes.
But if definitely that's the case, we might want to look at if there was a lockout that day, where then it was 2/3 vote of the people who were in the House and Senate. I'm not really sure, so I don't even want to speculate on that, but I'll take a closer look at it.
Yep. Well, let's be in touch about that because that's going to be an issue that you and a number of people will be digging into, I know. Good news is we're going to be going to a break shortly, and when we come back, we're going to have John Fuller's attorney tell us what is the judge pursuing with this lawsuit. Yeah. So he's here in the station, going to be in the studio momentarily to walk us through what's going on. Well, thank you so much.
I will definitely be listening to that.
Okay, State Representative Delicia Boyd, thank you so much for your time this morning and helping us better understand the vetoes and the impact on our communities. Lord's blessings. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to break. It's 8:20 a.m. You got somewhere to be at 8:30. You got about 10 minutes. And watch out for the weather now. You know, it's in the 80s. Going up to the low 90s, dressed accordingly, hydrate. I'm Will Sutton here with Ro Brown. We're going to have an opportunity for some calls before we get out of here at 9. And what is that talk line number, Mr. Rowe?
504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Elizabeth Kubel, and here are today's headlines for you. A search is on for a vehicle and the person responsible for gunfire that shut down the Crescent City connection over the weekend. We are learning that a child was in the car when a woman was shot near the Tchoupitoulas exit. Police say the victim was headed east when she noticed a black vehicle traveling next to her. Police say the victim then heard several gunshots and realized she had been shot. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers. Happening today, business owners frustrated with a construction debacle on Decatur Street are expected to be at an economic development meeting. Those businesses say they have lost thousands due to the ongoing sewage and water board project, and some filed an injunction last week. This comes as grant applications for struggling businesses are now open. And back in the Big Easy, Pelicans rookie Jaron Pierre Jr. is once again calling New Orleans home. And the team officially introduced their second-round selection on Monday. The St. Aug product detailed his emotions when he heard his name called to be a New Orleans Pelican, which means Pierre gets the opportunity to play professionally in an arena he grew up going to games in. And that is a look for you at today's headlines. I'm Elizabeth.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Step back in time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum, located in the heart of the Warehouse District in New Orleans. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling America's story in the war that changed everything, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. It's an experience. Plan your visit today at nationalww2museum.org. World War II Museum, where history lives.
Real talk. I look forward to Essence Festival every single year. This year, July 3rd through the 5th. New Orleans Essence Festival of Culture is back for 2026 and is presented by Coca-Cola. This lineup, man, Cardi B, Patti LaBelle, Brandy and Monica together, George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic, Kalani, Lotto, Leon Thomas, Public Enemy, and Babyface. I need you to understand what this weekend feels like. The energy, the fashion, and man, oh man, the food. New Orleans is already magic, and Essence makes it super natural. However you're getting there, wherever you're coming from, you need to be in that building July 3rd through the 5th. Go to essencefestival.com right now. Get your tickets. Do not wait.
Life has a way of shifting priorities, changing needs, and pivoting plans. Home Bank is there for all of them. Their bankers partner with you for every step along the way, from understanding your needs to celebrating your success. Home Bank is invested in the vibrant spirit of our community and in you. So partner with them. Stop on by any banking center in the greater New Orleans area or visit home24bank.com to get started today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, a member of the FDIC.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
Hey WBOK family, it's the Rue with Chef Bunny, sponsored by Blue Plate Mayonnaise. Tune in for all things food and beverage, covering the local food scene of New Orleans, putting you on to all of the great places to eat, bars to hop, and places to be. Check me out every Thursday, 12:30 p.m. The Room with Chef Bunny.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
We're under a heat advisory until 6 p.m. today. We could feel like 105 to 110. Actual highs today will be about 93 to 99 degrees. We could see a few spotty storms in the afternoon, but it is a possibility that some of these storms may not hold together, but be on the lookout for that as we get to the evening hours. For tonight, 75 to 80 degrees. For tomorrow, 91 to 95. More storms expected for your Wednesday. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK. Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Morning Show. I'm Wilson. I'm here with Ro Brown. It's 2 minutes until 8:30. You ready for the rest of the show?
Yes.
What you doing after the show that you can talk
about? I'm going to go write an article.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. You're still multi-talented.
No, I don't know about
Quite
that.
a resource. Everybody looking forward to whatever you have to say. All right.
I don't know about that
Okay,
either.
but right now, Ro, we're going to jump into conversation with an attorney representing Judge John Fuller, Mr. Jerome Williams. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm fine. It's Jerome Matthews.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Fabulous. So you haven't been to WBOK before.
I have not.
So before we jump into this conversation, who your mama in them, man?
Look, my name is Jerome Matthews. I'm from New Orleans. I am from the West Bank. Well, I guess I grew up in Gretna and Tarrytown, but my mom's from New Orleans. Both my mom and my dad went to 35.
Hey!
35.
Yeah. I went to West Jeff for senior high school.
All right.
Then I went to the Marines. After I did 5 years in the Marines, I actually got a medical discharge, and then I came back. So went to Holy Cross for 2 years, then went to Tulane University and graduated. Then went to UC Berkeley for law school. Came back, did 2 years at Lisco and Lewis, and after that, that's an oil and gas firm. Mm-hmm. Left, and then I went, started my own firm back in 2013. Mm-hmm. Since then, I've been doing mostly criminal defense. I've been doing the higher level cases. I was a trial attorney in Ramos versus Louisiana. That's the case that got rid of the non-unanimous jury verdicts. I was the one that made that record that went to the Supreme Court. Most recently, I actually represented John Fuller with his election lawsuit that got him back on the ballot.
Yeah, because he was knocked off the ballot.
Correct.
And so it seemed like he wouldn't be a candidate.
Right.
But then there was a filing which you handled.
Yes, I handled that, and we got him back on the ballot so he could be
And
judge.
so
for
he
the
wouldn't be a judge if he hadn't been on the ballot.
Correct. That's correct. So we had to make sure we got him on the ballot. He's back on, and now we're here again, ready to keep going.
Right, and he and others who considered running for that seat in particular knew this legislature was considering getting rid of it, and that's exactly what happened. That they designated 3 seats, and but that seat was always on the table, in part because there was a vacancy. They wanted to target that one. But now he's won election. And of course, what judge doesn't want to have a special election win and then run for a full term?
Correct.
At least to have the option of running for a full term. So that brings us to the lawsuit. I'm not going to summarize it. We talked about it a little bit earlier today, but give us the overview, the executive summary of what is this lawsuit.
This lawsuit is about the amount of votes needed to change the number of district court judges in a jurisdiction. That's what it is. It's not about whether or not the legislature can do it or not. It's about the number of votes needed. And if the legislature wants to change the number of district judges, they need a 2/3 majority. That's what the lawsuit is about. They did not get that 2/3 majority in this situation.
Now, he got a supermajority in one chamber, but not in the other, is what you're stating, correct?
So there were 4 total votes, I guess I can say. Off the 4 votes, 2 were in the Senate, 2 were in the House. He did get a supermajority the first time in the Senate, but in the second vote in the Senate, they did not get a supermajority, and in neither vote in the House did they get a supermajority.
How many votes shy were they in the Senate the second time?
1 vote shy in the Senate the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Were there no votes? I mean, people who voted no?
Yes.
Okay.
There were people that voted
no. Were there people who abstained?
There were people that weren't there. I can't remember specifically if there were people that abstained.
Okay. Were there 1 or more who weren't there?
I believe there were maybe 9 that weren't there for the House. Oh, for the Senate vote. I'm not sure for the Senate vote.
Okay. All right. And in the House, the argument is that you're required to have a supermajority, not just a majority. So there was a majority vote in the House both times, but not a supermajority vote each time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So you're more versed in this, and the judges too, and of course legislators. But was this what they call a lockout situation with?
No, I don't. This wasn't I believe a lockout is when they feel like they're looking around and they see that they don't have enough members present, so they try to rush the vote. I don't believe that's what happened. They just weren't there at the time. And it also needs to be, I guess, stated that even though these members weren't there, that doesn't cure the amount of votes required. The Constitution, Article 5, Section 15 states it's the supermajority of members elected, not members present. So they need to have the number of votes needed for the members elected, which for the House is 70, and for the Senate is 26.
Well, I know that some folks have already responded and say it's based on who's present. But you're saying that's not true.
That's not true. The Constitution specifically says members elected, not members present.
Okay. So Mr. Morris says that he did his homework on this, and that, I mean, how do you, I mean, how do we figure which is which? Who's right, who's wrong? I mean, he says that, it sounds like he was aware of all of this.
I'm not sure what homework Mr. Morris did or didn't do. But I can tell you that Article 5, Section 15 says members elected. It does not say members present. Then he goes to Section 32, And he says that Section 32 has this carve out for New Orleans. I can tell you Section 32 does have a carve out for New Orleans, but it is not relative to the judges. It's relative to the Orleans and criminal court institutions. And they talk about, I know Liz Morrell talks about what happened with Calvin Duncan. Calvin Duncan's case is the clerk, and the clerk is specifically mentioned in Section 32. Section 32 says the clerk, it says the sheriff, it says the Orleans and criminal court institutions, but it does not talk about the judges. The judges are governed under Article 5, Section 15.
So why would somebody connect? Why wouldn't they connect Orleans Parish Criminal Court institution with judges and sections? So if it mentions Orleans Parish Court institution, why wouldn't that be inclusive of judges and sections?
Because the number of judges is specifically mentioned in Section 15.
Okay, because they are not mentioned there, but mentioned elsewhere.
Correct.
So that's part of the heart of your argument.
Yes. Yes. Section 15 talks about the number of judges. Section 30 talks about the majority needed to change the clerk, the sheriff, other specifically mentioned offices, and the actual separation of the civil and criminal courthouses, not the number of judges.
So where is the case? And is this something that's going to drag, or is it something that's going to be soon, or what?
We have asked for an expedited hearing. The law, though, says that you have to give the Attorney General a certain amount of time. So we're hoping this is heard the last week in July.
What's that certain amount of time the Attorney General should be?
So the law says the Attorney General gets 30 days to respond. Liz Morrell, she issued a statement last night saying that this is going to be quick, so hopefully she responds sooner and we can all move on sooner and get this going. But right now, the soonest we could have a hearing would be the last week in July.
What court does this go to?
The 19th JDC in Baton Rouge.
19th Judicial.
Yes, the 19th Judicial
in
District
Baton
Court.
Rouge.
Was that your only option to file there, or did you have other options?
We had to file in Baton Rouge, where the governor is, where the legislature is, where the Attorney General is. That's where we had to file this.
Has there been any similar case in recent memory that you're familiar with? Because I'm sure you did your research before you filed the lawsuit. Has there been anything similar?
No, there hasn't really been anything similar like this, because this is almost, it's specific to New Orleans. They're saying they did this because they could treat New Orleans differently than the other 63 parishes, which almost doesn't make sense that you would say that the judges in New Orleans receive less protection than any other judge anywhere else in the state.
So, as I like to say, correct me if I'm wrong, the core argument is you didn't have a supermajority, which is required in both chambers. But then that leads to the legislation as it's drafted and amended, and how that was drafted and amended, and whether it could have been considered with different language or not. Could they have drafted something differently that could have met this, or is it solely based on the vote?
It's solely based on the vote.
Okay.
It's based on the vote. I just want to the legislature, when we're not saying that they don't have the power to do it, but they did not get the vote required. And there's no different way they could have written it. There's nothing else they could have done differently. If they want to reduce or add the number of judges, they need a 2/3 vote.
So if they were so inclined to say, y'all got a heavy load, you need 3 more judges, they couldn't just do a majority vote and give Orleans Parish 3 more judges. They would have to have a supermajority in the House and in the Senate.
Correct.
Okay. Now, again, on the timing that Ro mentioned, qualifying is the first week of August for anybody who's going to run, not just for a judge seat, but for other seats as well. I believe it's August 5th, 6th, 7th. So you're saying this could go to the end of July? I mean, could it be heard and decided before the end of July?
before qualifying comes up?
The way I wrote the suit, it's 160 pages, and
I'm still going through it.
Right.
I thought it was going to be maybe 20 pages. I'm like, what is this? Okay.
So I wrote it as 160 pages
Yeah.
because in hopes that I believe everything needed to make a decision on the suit is in it. So once this 30-day waiting period finishes, I'm hoping that we can have a very quick date and the judge could decide on what I wrote. Now, like I said, based on the law, you have to give the Attorney General 30 days to respond. So
That's 30 days from yesterday?
30 days from when they're served. I believe they're being served today.
Okay, 30 days from today.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, if they respond sooner or if they waive that 30 days, we can go in tomorrow.
Okay,
we can go on Friday.
So they might waive it if they think you don't have waive it if they think you don't have a chance.
They could waive it for any reason they want based on what Liz Morrell said last night. I'm hoping they come in. She thinks it's going to be a quick resolution.
Yeah.
So let's go in and do it then.
You want to get it done.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can go in today.
Yeah,
I'll drive to Baton Rouge right now.
You're ready to do it now.
Yes. We are ready.
Okay. All right. So that leads to another question. Judge Fuller and Andre, his opponent, they knew that it was possible that, quite likely, that the term would be, since it's a special election, for the remainder of the retired judge's term, and that the seat would most likely disappear. But since most judges, whether they run for a full term or a special election term, they want to run for another full term. Is John Fuller, Judge Fuller, going to go ahead and run for re-election, whether this proceeds or not?
That I do not know. I know that if we can get this law overturned, he does anticipate qualifying for Section J again.
Okay. So
and just to be clear about something, so HB 911 was the first, I guess, time this possible removal of the judges came up.
Yep.
I don't believe HB 911 was on the table on the date of qualifying. So I think it was being talked about, maybe like some rumors, but I don't think on the date either one of them qualified that it was actually on the chopping block.
Okay. So just to be clear, Judge John Fuller was elected to this job with 65% of the vote.
Yes.
Overwhelming.
Yes.
Not even close. And looks like he's enjoying the job.
Yes.
And he wants to keep the job.
Yes.
So he intends to run for re-election, but this hurdle has to be passed.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So can he go ahead and start campaigning? Because whether this goes on or not, so that people will know he is a candidate or intends to be a candidate before qualifying?
I mean, he could do that, but right now, there's no seat, I guess. I mean, he's in Section J, but he could not qualify for that seat. So, I mean, could he continue running for Section J? Yes, but until we have this cleared up, we don't know if he'll be able to qualify for that or not.
Well, what about running for another seat? Whether it's I will give you an example. So one of his colleagues on the court, Leon Roche, is running for re-election to his seat. Another colleague, Judge Rhonda Good Douglas, has decided to challenge Leon Roche because her seat is going away.
Yeah.
Simone Levine, her seat is going away, but she said she's going to run for re-election. But she can't run for re-election to her seat. She's running for re-election to the Orleans Parish Criminal District Court seat to be identified. Can he do that?
I mean, he could do that, but I'm not involved in his campaign in any way.
Okay,
You'd
yeah.
have to ask his campaign manager or someone on his campaign team.
All right, but he does want to continue to serve as judge.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what do you most want people to know about this lawsuit as things move forward in terms of the public awareness and knowledge, and I'll separate that into a couple of categories. One, what do you want the legislators to understand, since this involves who voted and didn't vote in a supermajority? What do you want the legislators to understand? What do you want the public to understand, and particularly in New Orleans, and those who are interested in the criminal district court?
Okay. Look, that's pretty much the same answer for both. So first, there are a lot of people who believe that this is already resolved through what happened with Kelvin Duncan. And it's not. This is a completely different issue. Kelvin Duncan's main argument was that they couldn't take his seat because he was elected to it, and he should have been able to finish. He should have been able to start serving his term and finish his term. This is different, as our argument is not that the legislature can't do it. It's that they did not have the votes to do it. Kelvin Duncan, his seat was taken by a majority. In Section 32, that is correct. That is a specific carve-out for the way they can treat New Orleans different, but it specifically enumerates specific positions, which clerk is one of them, and judges is not. Judges are, the vote is controlled by a separate article, Article 5, Section 15. And with that, you need a 2/3 vote. And it's a 2/3 vote of members elected, not members present. And that just did not happen. It did not happen. And the Constitution is the Constitution. Everybody has to play by the rules. They did not get the votes required. They did not get the votes needed. And the law passed, Act 748, is just unconstitutional because the votes were not there.
So does 515 include only the Orleans Parish Criminal District Court or other courts as well?
Article 5, Section 15 is about any judicial district court judge anywhere in the state. So for you to say that these 3 positions in Orleans Parish could be passed by a majority vote, could be removed by a majority vote, is saying that they are different than any other district court judge in the state. And that's just not the case. It's not the way it's written.
All right.
So you sound confident.
I am confident because it's right. It's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So assuming a successful win, short of the last week of July, or a unsuccessful win, the judge will decide whether to proceed without the win. And with the win, he definitely just plans to run for re-election.
Yes, I don't want to speak for him, but that's my understanding. If we win, he is going to qualify for Section J and seek re-election.
All right, got it. All right, well, thank you very much, Attorney Matthews. Got it right that time.
Got it.
Appreciate you making a quick change to take care of family business, take care of your attorney business, and get on over here to our Black Talk radio station and share some time with us to not just say the lawsuit's filed, but to help us understand what's behind the lawsuit and why this is important, not just for Judge John Fuller, but Orleans Parish Criminal District Court, Parish of Orleans, and the state of Louisiana. I think that's a summary of what you're saying with this lawsuit.
Sounds good. That sounds good to me. That's exactly what we're saying.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Ro Brown, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have some more news and information before we get out of here and make way for the front porch. What's that talk line? If anybody wants to try to squeeze in a call.
504. That's 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
It's off the top Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Just how badly did Trump trash the White House? Well, let me count the ways. The New York Times editorial describes the UFC Freedom 250 blood sports event on the White House lawn as a garish spectacle of American decline. The Independent News op-ed condemned the event as an unserious American cage fight. That's right, a $60 million UFC-sponsored brawl on the White House lawn to celebrate Trump's 80th birthday and a tribute to the nation's 250th anniversary. The country's 250th anniversary notwithstanding, this was all about Trump, along with the billionaire sycophants and others who came to pay homage to the would-be king. As a former CBS News White House correspondent, I'm accustomed to the pomp and circumstance of ceremonial receptions held in honor of dignitaries, both national and international. But I was stunned to see the People's House transformed into a beer-chugging brawl fest devoid of class and dignity. There were fights inside the ring, and then there was a drunken brawl outside the ring that resulted in an arrest. But perhaps the lowest point of the event occurred when UFC fighter Josh Hokett stood in the middle of the ring and called former First Lady Michelle Obama a man. The White House offered no apology. Nonetheless, the comment by Hokett drew widespread criticism. The remark, of course, is untrue, transphobic, and racist. But remember, Trump has also disparaged the Obamas, even posting an image of the former president and former First Lady as primates on social media. In addressing the insults regarding the Obamas and the debacle on the White House lawn, podcaster Charlemagne the God put it best, saying, "The Obamas set a masterclass standard for decency, poise, and intelligence. And now, with Trump, that bar is in hell." This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Guess what, y'all? Community Book Center, after 14 years, is once again the official bookstore of the 2026 Essence Festival. I'm Vera Warren Williams, founder of Community Book Center. Please join us at the Ernest Morial Convention Center, July 3rd through the 5th, for Black culture's biggest weekend. We also invite you to visit our store at 2523 Bayou Road, along with the other Black businesses on historic Bayou Road. Community Book Center, more than a bookstore.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Real talk. I look forward to Essence Festival every single year. This year, July 3rd through the 5th. New Orleans Essence Festival of Culture is back for 2026 and is presented by Coca-Cola. This lineup, man, Cardi B, Patti LaBelle, Brandy and Monica together, George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic, Kalani, Lotto, Leon Thomas, Public Enemy, and Babyface. I need you to understand what this weekend feels like. The energy, the fashion, and man, oh man, the food. New Orleans is already magic, and Essence makes it supernatural. However you're getting there, wherever you're coming from, you need to be in that building July 3rd through the 5th. Go to essencefestival.com right now. Get your tickets. Do not wait.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the morning show. What's left of it? I'm Will Sutton with Ro Brown. Enough of us talking. Let's go to the phone line. Hey, Ron. Good morning, sir. How are you? On with Will Sutton and Ro Brown.
Yeah, you're right. Good morning. Good morning.
All right.
First, shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable as well as the Huey P. Newton Gun Club.
Absolutely.
Let me say this, man. The reason why these people feel compelled to keep on playing with us because they understand and know that we're not going to do anything. You dig?
Yeah.
These people don't fear noise. They fear consistency. A lot of times when we have conversations like this, as soon as this show and others is over, so is the conversation. As soon as the information dropped about Jay Morris and what he was doing up there in Monroe, it should have been from our leaders. It should have been busted sponsored to take the people from New Orleans and go up there in Monroe, pull up at his office and show him you're not going to sit up here and play with our city nor the people of New Orleans. These people know that they can take and come at our leaders as well as us with a few concessions and pamper and baby us, and then we're going to go out the way and we're going to move solid because some of us, we're not even in this fight for real liberation. We only in it just to make sure that us and our families are good, not the community as a whole. And that's why every year we have these same conversations, you know what I'm saying? And it's always affecting our community, but yet we got to be the ones to be all inclusive with everybody else. So, like say, these people, they don't feel no noise because that's all we're going to do is make noise. We're going to call WBOK and say this, that, and the third, make some noise, but we're not being consistent with our noise. That's what this beast fear. They fear consistency. They do not fear noise because, again, as soon as 9 o'clock comes, the conversation is going to be over. And what action is coming from the actual conversation? Nothing. So, again, it's things that we're going to have to stand up and do if we really want to see real liberation. And that's across the board. The governors came and said exactly what he was going to do. Yeah, I understand about the vote and things like that, but we can't keep on just putting all of our power just in behind elections. What are we doing before the elections come? We got 2028 coming up right now. Do we have anybody in mind or up and ready to run for governor right now? No, we don't. We got November coming up. Do we have anybody? Well, I know we just had the elections recently, but we got to stop preparing for hurricane season June 1st when hurricane season gets here. And that's something that we always do. And another reason why we are not consistent in what we're doing. I'm gonna give you a sports analysis, and I'm out of here.
Hey, Ron, we got to go because we got to make room for the front porch. And but you make excellent points as you do always.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, Ken, you got 30 seconds.
Well, the story is we have to use economic power. We have to have votes. They know that we're here. There are 850,000 of us in this state. If you're gonna do something, get people to vote and tell them they're taking stuff. And the brother is correct. We have to be consistent with doing it. The governor's running scared because he has 300,000 people already signed up to recall him. That's sending a message. We need to get to 500,000. Have a great day and thank you.
All right, wonderful. Lord's blessings. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us here at the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and Ro Brown is with me. Stay tuned, folks. We got some major Supreme Court decisions coming down about 10 o'clock or so, 9 o'clock our time. So one of them is about birthright citizenship. You've heard Trump talk about that for quite some years. That was an allegation he made against Obama, and part of what got him into the place of being a candidate for president. Birthright citizenship. So stay tuned for that. Look out for that. It's going to affect quite a number of people one way or the other. This is the Good Morning Show, and it's the end. Making room for the front porch. Have a smiley after that, and then the reality check with Gerard Stevens. This is WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. Oh.